Born in dirt. Fitting, since the bike we're looking at today is a dirt jumper, the Mongoose Rebel X26. This is new territory for me. I like mountain bikes, like e-bike, well, all bikes, but dirt jumper is something I'm just not familiar with, so we're in this together. And being new to the scene, I'm not really sure where BMX stuff ends and dirt jumper begins, but I think some of it has to do with the size of the wheels and tires. And maybe the bars. We're going to look at it all, front to back, top to bottom. First, let's see what the bike says about itself. A self-introduction via the hang tag. Build skills to ride at the pump track. I don't have access to one of those, but I'm working on that for part 2 of this video, or meet up with friends. I guess I can rent some. Usage, ride on the street, bike park, or dirt path. That all checks out. Steel frame, we'll look at that in a second with its modern geometry. Note this here, offers a BMX look and feel. Yeah, see that when I look at the bike. A single disc brake, 26-inch mountain bike wheels. That might be the dirt jumper difference. Here's the other hang tag with the barcode and the item number. But I will save you all the effort. You can look down below this video. This is the owner's manual, born in dirt, Mongoose style. Here it is, out of the box, fully assembled, a beauty, but the first thing that catches my attention in the looks of this bike, it's the price. At the time I'm making this video, looking at it directly on the Walmart website, this Mongoose Rebel X26 is under $200, $198 to be exact. That is very affordable. And very available if you're me, because the site says not only can I order it on the website and have it shipped to me, but there's an option that I could pick this up at one of my local Walmarts today in store, or a delivery option to get it delivered today in store. That's a lot of availability. And at only $198, this is a pretty low entry point, among the lowest that I've seen, for a bike that I could take off the rack at Walmart and head down to a bike park. What exactly do you get for $198? Well, let's give it a detailed look. All the key components, starting like I like to do, up top at the bars. I mentioned not knowing exactly where BMX becomes dirt jumper, but I suspect that one part of that is the width of the bars. These are wide compared to any BMX bike I've ridden, 740-ish millimeters end to end. They also have a taper, a unique looking taper. It steps down at the grips. There's also the high rise, at least say versus a mountain bike, but not quite as high as what I see on BMX bikes. This stem definitely has BMX heritage. Squat and stubby, also very beefy looking. You know, for me not knowing anything about dirt jumpers, I kind of like the width and profile of these bars. And at the bar ends, the grips. Marble finish, green and black marble, cool to look at, even better to touch. The raised ribs are prominent enough that it gives the grips a soft touch feel, squishy but not too squishy, meaning there's a really good balance between firm grip and controllability, but still enough give to make it feel somewhat padded. There's one more thing up top at the bars, the right single brake lever. The bike has a single brake installed, nothing up front. The lever works the rear disc brake. The lever itself is alloy, metal bars, metal brake lever. Let's move down a bit to the barrel-shaped straight steer head tube. No need for a taper here. The head tube is badged with a Mongoose metal shield. The silver to silver with black accents looks good. Head tube function, of course, is to house the steerer tube for the fork. No suspension fork here. This is a steel rigid fork. No graphics, sans the Mongoose logo near the dropouts. The front wheel is bolt-on. The wheel card tells us these are 26-inch wheels, and that's a wide range that it gives for heights, 5'4" to 6'2". Normally I would balk at this, but I've been told that no, this is a correct sizing range for a bike of this kind. The 26-inch wheels have 26 by 2.35 tires. The tread, fine for dirt, fine for street, fine for light trail. Very usable. The rims, double wall alloy with black steel spokes. The hubs, well, they're big box, but with a sticker. I like small style elements, and this ties in with the late 80s, early 90s Mongoose graphic on the fork. That's what we're working with up front, the wheels, the fork, the tires, and of course the handlebar we've already seen. Let's move back to the drivetrain and see what surprises await us there. Starting with the pedals. They're plastic, you get what you get. These though, clearly distinguishable by their color. Neon green to match the previous graphics. Other than the color, they are what they are. There are reflectors for safety, but it's what they're mounted to that grabs my attention. These crank arms. First, they're chromoly. Second, there's kind of this double barrel design. I think these can be used on either side. Then I noticed this wasn't the bottom bracket I thought this bike would have given the price. No, this is nice. And let me go back to that chromoly. Chromoly is more expensive. It's more expensive to work with, and it is very strong. I'm surprised to see it here on a bike under $200. The length of these crank arms, 165 millimeters. Also note, this bike comes with a smoke chain guard, not listed on the Walmart listing pictures. Just something extra added in probably for safety. Let's talk about the gearing. Up front, the single chainring, a 36 tooth. If we move to the rear, this is a single speed. There's only one cog back here, and that's a 16 tooth. Here's a look at the rear gearing, the rear hub, the single speed glory. Note the sticker in the middle of that hub, just like the front. I like it when it spins. It kind of gives a little cascading look. The little things. This wide mountain bike tire has ample clearance on this frame. A frame that is steel. The frame size 13 inches. The entire bike weighs 32 pounds and has a load capacity of 300, and that's steel, high tensile steel for the frame. Seat post is mounted via quick release. The seat post size, 25.4 millimeters, a little different than what we usually see these days. Saddle mount clamp, the budget kind. The saddle itself, black with a gloss black Mongoose M. It fits the style of the bike, but let's talk about the fitment range. At its highest, this seat sits at 34 inches. Slam it all the way down, and it's 28 1/4 inches. And in my experience, dirt jumper riders always have them all the way down, and then they have a little tilt to them that I haven't mastered yet. Let's go back to this frame for a moment. Again, it's a 13-inch steel frame, high tensile steel with a glossy silver finish. They call this nickel, which is actually a perfect name because that's exactly what it looks like in person, a nickel. All the graphics on this bike, including the badge, can be easily peeled away. So if you like that stealth look, you could get rid of everything, but personally, I like the look of this. Look at that green, the way that ties in with the pedals and those little hub stripes. It's a good looking bike, I mean, there's no doubt about that. Especially with those grips tying even further into the green and the black trim. I mean, it's such a good looking bike. And how about this? External routing for that single cable, but the way it's done, even it's not obtrusive. And here's that mechanical disc brake, singular, just here at the back, and the rotor 160 millimeters. A closer look at this steel frame, the weld quality. Steel's a little different to work with, so glean what you can from what you see. Speaking of seeing, this doesn't come across on the screen as it does in person, but this bottom bracket is huge. At least by my mountain bike mindset standards, it's a big old chunkin' thing, I'm guessing for strength. Kickstand, yes, the bike has one. It's tucked behind that big bottom bracket. So that's what you get if you're shopping for a dirt jumper from Mongoose at Walmart at the time of making this video for $198. But how does it work out as a dirt jumper? Well, this is the feature overview. I said this is going to be 2 parts. That's the second part. Look, I'm not really well versed in dirt jumper, especially rigid fork jumping on that. So I took it tentative on the trail, but I can tell you, it'll ride the base part of the trails. I'm currently rounding up local dirt jumpers to give this a thorough go through, which will be part 2. If you're local and you want to give this a try, give me a shout. You might even make it into part 2 of this video. I can tell you, I've been playing around with this downtown, and while I'm not a dirt jumper expert in an urban environment, it is fun. What do you think? A dirt jumper for $198 that can be bought at walmart.com or in store, is that a deal to you? Comment below and make sure you are subscribed and you have the notification bell active so you don't miss part 2. Dirt jumping on a $198 dirt jumper. Thanks for watching and have a great day.